Hello, and thank you for accessing our mini session, Top 5 Reasons to Get Serious About Mileage in 15 Minutes. This session is part of our Timely Topics Education series, which includes education and resources designed to speak to the current business environment. I'm your host, Naomi, and I have a few quick items to review before we get started. First, everything you see on your screen is movable and resizable using the arrows in the corners. If you have any questions about today's content, click on the Q&A widget that can be found at the bottom of your screen, and we'll be sure to get back to you via email. We also have additional resources and links to support today's session in the resources widget that looks like a folder, so be sure to check that out. And finally, to help guide us on future topics, we ask that you complete a quick survey at the close of the session. You can find it in the widget that looks like a clipboard. Now that that's out of the way, I'd like to hand it off to our speaker for today's mini session, Aurelia Catalina. Aurelia?
Thank you. So my name is Aurelia Catalina. I'm a senior training consultant at SAP Concur, and today I will be your host to cover those top 5 reasons to get serious about mileage, all in 15 minutes. So business has started to move again, but for many organizations, travel may look a bit different now than it has looked in the past. So today, we want to talk through 5 reasons why managing mileage may be important in the weeks, months, or quarters to come, and why now may be the right time to take a closer look at mileage and how you manage it to make sure you're getting every bit of the value out of the Concur drive. As employees get back out on the road, they may be more likely be on the actual road behind the wheels in their vehicles instead of on the flights or using other forms of mass transit. A recent F&B study shows that nearly all travelers from small to mid-sized businesses, we're talking about 97%, expect a new normal of business travel, including things like wearing face masks at 52%, and keeping hand sanitizer as a standard accessory in shared spaces at 50%. And 30% expect to limit the use of the public transportation, while just over 25% predict using their personal vehicles for traveling. More usage of personal cars and driving in general puts an obvious focus on tracking mileage, and that puts a greater pressure on a category of spending that's already difficult to control. If even a handful of employees are still tracking mileage manually, they're wasting time, and you're running the risk of mistakes, overspending, and of course, fraud. And that brings us to point number 2, and some good news. We've got a solution that's right there and ready for you. If your employees are using Google Maps or their odometers to track their mileage, you've got a way to make it better. That begs the question, though, does it need to be better? Well, the traditional ways of tracking mileage leave a lot to be desired. The data those spreadsheets and mileage log deliver, this is the data you use to reimburse employees, may be anything but accurate. If they're manual tracking with their odometers, you're counting on your ability to keep tabs of their miles and enter them correctly. And if they're relying on the Google Maps, you're not getting an accurate readout on their actual mileage, but just a guesstimate based on a projected route. Concur Drive is right there waiting for you and your employees to take advantage of. It's already a part of your solution, and it's easy to get started and start seeing a better process and better results. Your users will see an option to enable Concur Drive when they log into the SAP Concur mobile app and tap Mileage. All they need to do is to turn it on, and they're ready to go. Yes, without Concur Drive, Concur Expense, that have a mileage feature, but it is required data to be manually entered. Concur Drive captures mileage for users without any manual work. The mileage recorded is sent to Concur Expense, entered into line item entries, so users don't need to manually input trips one by one. But more about that in a moment. As we said before, if your employees are using spreadsheets to track mileage or the traditional mileage feature already in Concur Expense, Concur Drive is going to make mileage much, much better. And this reinforces our third point. It will simply be simpler. It is easier to keep track tabs of the miles that they drive and that they need to be reimbursed. The process is intuitive and user-friendly from start to finish. The app tracks an employee's travel automatically. They simply select auto tracking and get started down the road, while the app tracks when they start and when they stop. Or employees can choose to manually start and stop with a touch of the button. Either way, you get more complete data with decided less effort from your team. And when the trip is over, all users have to do is hit one button, move to report, and their mileage information is automatically added and categorized in their expense report. So all they need to do is to submit them. Finally, it doesn't matter if they're an iOS or Android user, they're covered either way. Plus, by using Concur Drive, employees can easily split work and personal travel without extra headaches and clunky steps. Can even customize the app to their work hours, so it is automatically starts and stops while they're traveling for work. And perhaps most important, when it's easier and faster to submit mileage, employees get reimbursed faster, and that will always keep them smiling. Now, let's move on to the fourth point for today. Tracking mileage digitally has other benefits we would like to share. We all know that data matters when you're managing spending. And mileage data gets better when employees are tracking mileage digitally. As we showed a minute ago, all we have to do is to hit one button, move to report, and their mileage information is automatically added and categorized in their expense report. As a result, you'll get to see more expense reports in a timely fashion, so you can stay on the top of spending, avoid surprises, and minimize complex accruals from month to month. You'll also get more accurate data, getting rid of the manual entry errors that carry a real cost. As a result, budgets are also more accurate, so you and your teams can see where your travel spending stands against what you have planned. And you can also use up-to-date information to adjust and reallocate budgets as the priorities shift. The bottom line is you'll have a more precise understanding of both this portion of your spending and how it affects your broader budget. You can also get more detailed insight into how Concur Drive and, as a result, mileage in general is getting used. You get a summary look at the number of mileage entries, percentage of Concur Drive adoption, number of mileage entries associated with Concur Drive routes, and the percentage of Concur Drive routes that were modified. You can also see the top 10 employees with the highest number of modifications to their mileage amount. And from this summary view, you can also dig into the granular details as well. Our customers use this detailed analysis to look further into how many mileage expenses are coming through Concur Drive versus not, allowing them to see how the tool is used across the organization. And as we wrap up, we have a few tools and resources ready to help you get and your employees using Concur Drive and get more control over your mileage spending. So as you think about rolling it out or making sure they're using it to the fullest potential, you are not alone. You can access a comprehensive toolkit on concurtraining.com, a site that houses valuable content you can use to educate and enable your employees. You can find a link to the toolkit in the resources section and the event dashboard. Okay, now let's quickly walk through some of the enablement resources available to you. This adoption strategy guide is a simple set of step-by-step instructions to help you get started. It's here to help you plan communication and engagement with your users and outline how to use many of the other materials provided. The adoption supporting materials include turnkey emails that show users how to get started, as well as share some tips and tricks with them on using Concur Drive. There are also digital and print signage you can use to promote a solution to your employees. All of these files are ready to go, so you just grab them and get them in front of your employees without extra steps or extra work. You can also use a Get Started guide and FAQ document to educate your employees. These tools are written to and for your users, walking them through the simple steps of getting Concur Drive up and running and answering any questions they may have. And finally, we have 3 quick hit videos that introduce users to the solution, help them getting set up, and show simple tips that make expensing mileage easy and efficient. These are short videos that allow users to see how the app works and truly see how simple it is. So all the information they need are packed into the roughly 1-minute clip. Again, this content is packaged and ready for you to take directly to your employees, so you can drive up engagement and adoption without adding your workload. As we wrap up, remember that employees are ready to start traveling again. It is a good time to take another look in how you manage mileage. And as you do, keep in mind a few things. Remember to consider the uniqueness of today's travel environment and how it may affect your employees and your budget. It is a perfect time to take a deeper look at the mileage methods you are using and the digital tools that are available at your disposal, like Concur Drive. You have an opportunity to focus on the traveler experience. The convenience and simplicity of Concur Drive can help you to streamline your day-to-day task list. You will have access to even more data, so be sure you're ready to use it to understand your spending and how mileage is being managed company-wide. And finally, take advantage of the resources available to help you get Concur Drive up and running and adopted by your entire team. I want to thank you for your time and attention. And remember, travel safe, drive safe with Concur Drive.
Thank you so much, Aurelia. If you'd like to check out additional resources available within the Timely Topics Education series, you can click through the link that can be found in the resources widget. And as a final reminder, please be sure to complete the survey before you go. Thanks so much for joining us.